Talk to me. Real conversation, shoot with me. Talk to me. Laughs and insights, wait and see.
It's time for some real talk with Michelle.
Talk to me.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk to Me, Michelle. I'm your host, Michelle, and it's another episode we're bringing to you. And this is going to be a real roller coaster ride because I'm going to say some things that may rub some people the wrong way. And we're going to get into that a little bit later in the episode. But thanks again for tuning in and subscribing and sharing the podcast. And I'm definitely going to connect and go down memory lane during this episode because I want you guys to understand that when you meeting your favorite celebrities can be a joyful experience or it can be the worst experience. And the reason I say it's the worst experience because when you admire somebody for their talent and they're in the main spotlight, you don't know them personally. You just know that they're this great person. It's just like me meeting Wonder Woman back in the day, Linda Carter. And if Linda Carter was an asshole, that would just tarnish my image of Wonder Woman. It's just the way it is. Time to go down memory lane with the celebrities my sister and I have met and our experiences with each celebrity. We met a lot of celebrities back to back between, young childhood, mid-teenage years. Our father is a music executive, T.C. Tompkins, and he's got his own book out sharing his experiences when radio was king. And you guys should definitely pick up that book. Besides, it's my dad, but the stories you guys are going to read behind some of these big names, you are not going to believe. So with him being a music executive, that provided a unique opportunity to meet celebrities. One of my first early encounters, I know my mother was an administrative assistant at Stax Records back in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, at the time, I was in kindergarten. I did not know these people that were in the music studio while folks were standing outside the building. Her office would overlook the studio. It was like on the second floor, a little flight of steps she had to go up. She had a big window in her office, and you'd overlook the music studio. And I mean, had I known then or had access to a cell phone back then, I would have had some classics. I mean, you look up all the artists on Stax Records and they all came through that building. Eventually, my father got into the music industry by way of Stax, and he took off with his career. He worked at a lot of different record companies. So there's going to be different scenarios during this episode. Now, I can remember my first celebrity encounter, and this is when I was like 6, 7 years old. Isaac Hayes.
I'm gonna make love to you, woman. Gonna lay you down by the fire.
Yes, the voice you hear on Chef of South Park, that was my first celebrity experience. Now, I didn't know who Isaac Hayes was. I did not know what a big deal he was. I'm a kid. I'm not paying attention to that, right? At that time. But I do recall when he had his album out called Chocolate Chip. And so I only remember his picture being on this black album cover with him in the shadows and him holding up a chocolate chip cookie. And at the time, my mom was going by the house. I have no idea for what, but he was having, I guess because he was having a barbecue at his house that day. And I recall him walking up to me. He had like a little dashiki on. And he had the warmest smile. It was just a warm smile. I felt very welcomed. That's what I definitely remember meeting Isaac Hayes as a child. It was just a positive reaction. So we're going to give Isaac Hayes a thumbs up. Now, the next encounter I had, my father's moving forward in his career, and he ends up working with Michael Jackson early in Michael's career before Michael became a solo artist. And I was a big Jackson fan. I mean, I'm talking about from the days from ABC. And, when they had that Saturday morning cartoon, the Jacksons, I was there. cereal and all. And growing up, and then my father gets the opportunity. He works with him because he's at a label. And this is before Michael's solo career. He was still working with his brothers. The first time I met Michael Jackson, it wasn't too hot. Let me tell you why. I forgot what year it was, but I knew it was like in the 70s. And my dad was backstage, and he brought me along, and I believe he brought my sister along too. Michael was sitting on a chair up against the wall. And I mean, his body language was just like, ugh. Just like he had just had a rough day. And my dad, we didn't walk up too close to him. My dad must have sensed he might have been, in a mode. Something with the show could have went wrong. But, he introduced us. He was like, hey, just a half-ass greeting. And I'm going to blame that on the room. Because I know later in life, learning more about Michael was a perfectionist. He needed everything to be slamming. He was just that way. And I only can assume that something didn't go right during that show, because it was after the show when I was introduced. I mean, I was still a fan. It did not discourage me from still listening to his music and supporting him. The next time we met Michael, and I believe he was on the Victory Tour with his brothers, they all had trailers, because it was an outdoor concert. They all had trailers in the back of the stages. Each brother had their own trailer. And I remember walking in Michael's trailer, and he had a white studded jacket. And then my sister and I going in there, we had matching outfits too. Both had Jerry curls. So all three of us were Jerry curled up in that picture. I still got that picture to this day. And I recall Michael's glove being on my shoulder. I was just like, yo, this is so awesome, man. And he was just very friendly, very welcoming, took pictures with us, chatted with us for a few minutes. And it was just a real good experience. And when you meet certain people, they can give off a ray of energy. Michael's energy was awesome. It was just a warm, genuine, good feeling. And even though the encounter was brief, I definitely got to give Michael Jackson a thumbs up. Even though it started off a little rocky, but like I said, I think it was something in the show that didn't go right. And with him working the way he does, I knew it wasn't me. The next story, we got to go to the West Coast. I wasn't on the West Coast, but it's from a celebrity from the West Coast, and that would be Ice Cube. Yo, this is like a two-parter as well. I'm aware of Ice Cube. I'm actually listening to NWA at the time and was aware of the conflict he had with members of NWA once he left and went solo. So at the time, Ice Cube was dropping bars. I mean, he was dropping that first solo album, America's Most Wanted. Yo, I used to play that back to back. Knew it inside and out. So major Ice Cube fan. Time goes on, and I remember first meeting Ice Cube at my old school in Memphis, Tennessee. It's Hamilton High School. They were in Memphis filming the movie Trespass. It was him, Ice-T, the guy Tiny who played Debo in Friday, and a couple of other cast members. And they were doing a charity basketball game. And like I said, at the time, major Ice Cube fan. And I was dating a guy who was also a big fan. And they had a few people to, join in and play in the game. And he was one of the guys they included in the game. So when a break comes, my boyfriend looking out for me. He's going to do me right. He made sure he got me and brought me over to Ice Cube to meet him face to face. And my boyfriend said, oh, this is Michelle. It's my girl. And she's a real big fan of yours. Yo, he was sitting down. And I don't know if he was signing autographs or paperwork, whatever it was. But he looked up at me and had the stankiest ass attitude. So? Now, let me tell you, even though I was young back then, I still didn't take no shit. I told y'all a couple episodes ago, don't talk crazy to me, because you're going to get a different side. So me being the slick mouth, I was like, man, fuck this. My exact words, fuck this. And I turned around and walked. I could tell before I fully turned around, I saw his facial expression when I said what I said. His mouth was slightly hung open like, yo, yeah, I said it. Because you being rude for no reason. All he did was introduce me, told you I was a fan of yours, and this was the reaction. I wasn't going to be up there but a hot second to say hello, nice to meet you. So, needless to say, I started listening to less and less of Ice Cube. The only way I even got semi-back interested in Ice Cube was when he did the movie Friday. And I was still half-ass laughing at it because it was him in it. I'm not going to even lie. I love the movie, but I did have a second opportunity to meet Ice Cube. And this was, I think, at some basketball team launch he was doing in Houston. And my girl, Hawatha said, you know what, you need to come down. We're having a press conference. I go down there, got my phone. And I told her before I went down there, I said, look, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, but I'm going to give you heads up. Now, I didn't think he would remember me whatsoever, but I sure remembered his ass. I just told her about the incident that happened back in the day, and she was like, oh, my God. You know, because she knows how I am, and I know I'm not going to bring up no old shit. I will show up. I will be professional, and I just pray that he is not the same cat that he was back then. Yes, needless to say, it was a very pleasant experience. He gave me an on-spot interview, couple of minutes, very friendly, very inviting. So I'm thinking, like I said, life changes people, and I'm not sure if the beef particularly was, it was taking place between him and NWA when I first encountered him. I don't know if it was something with the film. I don't know what it was, but it was just a real bad first interaction. Second interaction made up for it so much better. So I'm going to give Ice Cube a mixed rating because he really got up under my skin the first time I met him. Great the second go around. You know, so we always got to stay positive. Now, later, after I graduated from high school, I did not go right to college. I started working, and I was fortunate enough to work in New York City. Yeah, New York City. I worked in Manhattan for a company called GR Productions. Now, this company was founded by Gene Griffin and Teddy Riley. My dad worked at that company over the marketing department. So we working with all kinds of talent. We're talking about Today with Big Bub, Abstract, Guy, Rex and Effect, Redhead Kingpin, Zan. It was a lot of different artists under that company. Once I got to the A&R position, I was throwing my creativity about there. Because at one point I had held Head Over the Guy fan club. So I would come up with merch ideas, different fan packs. So when they went on tour, that was, you know, a real creative position for me. I really enjoyed that position. Now, with Teddy Riley being a major figure in so many of New Jack Swing music, and I'm going to share my experience of the celebrities that came through there. The first one is Q-Tip. Yes, Q-Tip of A Tribe Called Quest. I also was a Tribe Called Quest fan. So one of the staff members were very good friends with Q-Tip, and I believe he came up to the office one day, and they were going to hang out, go to lunch or something. And she said, well, you know, before we bounce, let me introduce you to my coworker, Michele. So she brings me around the corner. He's sitting on the reception couch, and his body language already is arrogant. You know how you just walk in, you vibe somebody visually, and their whole appearance is just not vibing with you? That's what it was for me with Q-Tip. Before he opened his mouth, I was already like, ugh. So he gave me this half-ass greeting. Didn't get up, didn't shake my hand, nothing. And I was like, even if you wasn't going to do all that, you could at least been pleasant in your greeting. Because he barely said either, yeah. Like it was something for him to get over. Let me get this over and done with. Say hi to this heifer here. Now, I couldn't cut up the way I normally would because I was at my work environment. You got to understand, because you know I had choice words for his ass. I was about to Bonita Applebomb his ass out that reception area. So, needless to say, when they went out and she came back, I was like, girl, does he act like that all the time? Is he an asshole all the time? Yeah. She never answered me. She just kind of giggled it off. But I'm like, yeah, it's the fact that you giggling, I know he's an asshole. You just tolerate it because of who he is. And that's hard, being a friend with somebody that is an asshole. You know how hard I mean, like I said, I got some friends that got asshole traits, but they're not complete assholes. When you got a friend who is a complete asshole, no breaks, yo, that is the most difficult friendship to even keep. So needless to say, Q-Tip was a negative experience. Now, I know I'm going to get under people's skins with this next one, but this is the truth. And while working at GR Still, Teddy worked with Heavy D. Heavy D's banging. He is top of the charts. He is like making cameos on all the mainstream tracks, being on the radio. Heavy D's the man. He was such the man, like I said, when he would call into the office and ask to speak with Teddy, occasionally I would catch the call. You know, just answering the office phone. And he and I built a cool rapport on the phone. Every time he called, friendly, chipper, joking. And it'd be a second before, you know, he even get to Teddy, because we would chit-chat for a couple of minutes before I, you know, transfer him through. So we never meet in person until a couple months later on down the line. It's a concert, it's Heavy D, and I know he's performing with Guy and a couple of other artists. I'm backstage. And there's the side of the stage where you can watch the show from the side. That's where I'm walking to, because I see Heavy D standing right there on the side of the stage. I'm excited. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to finally get to meet him in person. I felt comfortable enough because we had already been talking on the phone, being friendly. I was like, man, this is going to be so dope. Walk up on him, tap him on the shoulder. How you doing? Hey, this is me finally in person. This Negro looked me up and down. Kind of gave like a psst. Yeah. Psst. That's what I got. And turned his head and continued watching the show. So basically, you are verbally and visually dismissing me from your presence. That's what we're doing. Again, professional environment. Because people I work with are at the same concert. So you know what? I'm going to diddly my ass up out of here. That's what I'm about to do. So I got to give Heavy D a mixed review. Positive over the phone, great personality, great conversationist. In person, complete ass. A complete ass. So that's the Heavy D story I got. Next one, again, I meet this person through working at GR Productions and met them on a video shoot for Rex and Effects single. Y'all know, all I want to do is zoom, 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 then my boom, boom. That's the record. So it was mad celebrities mentioned on that track when Teddy starts talking about his production credits. So Keith Sweat has to be there. A few others, but the one I got to say that was the most pleasure in meeting, that we still have a friendship to this day, I'll Be Sure. Yes, Mr. Do You Wanna? I'll Be Sure is one of the most nicest, sweetest, kindest human beings that's a celebrity that I've met. And that is so down to earth. I was mad nervous because, you know, this is when Albie first was like hitting the scene, and everybody and their mama wanted to have a child with this man. So I wait until they get through shooting his scene, and I walk up, and I'm such a geek at this moment because I'm mad nervous on how to meet him. I'm like, you know, would you mind giving me your autograph? It was so lame. It was so lame. But the response was not lame. This man grabbed me, brought me into his chest, and hugged the shit out of me. Now, was I going to fight that vibe? Hell to the no. I'll be sure is hugging me. And he just kind of grabbed me tight. He was like, oh, why y'all always got to ask for autographs? Let's say hello and how you doing? You know, he was just really trying to be a human being. And my sister Rocky was on the sideline. She was like, yeah, I want an autograph too then. She already wanted one, but when she saw me get that hug, she was like, let's pass it around. And it was years later in Houston when my sister and I had our podcast on a local radio station. And at the time, I'll Be Sure was doing a performance at a local club. So we had the opportunity to interview him via telephone. And we end up going to the live performance. And it was like a meet and greet afterwards. He did his performance and meet and greet afterwards. And I was like, Al, I do not know if you remember me, but I first met you on the Rump Shaker video shoot. And like I said, I don't know if he honestly remembered, but he was, again, welcoming, warm, friendly, down to earth. And since that time, we have talked to Al B. Sure several times. I've gone to some of his celebrations because, you know, he went through some real bad health issues. And thank God he is doing well. And he is still a down-to-earth kind person. So I'm giving Al B. Sure I'm giving him 4 thumbs up. I'm giving him 4 thumbs up. You know why? Because he's fine, number one. And I'm usually not a Redbone fan, but yeah, I give him some points on fine. Sweetheart. Anything you ask Al, if it's in his power, he is there. And just a down-to-earth person. I will forever love me some Al B. Sure. Now, my next experience, it actually goes back. I have an internship at a local radio station, WHRK, in Memphis, Tennessee. And I was interning with the morning show, the Mike Evans Show. At the time, this is when the Kings of Comedy Tour was going crazy. They were hitting cities. You know, it's him, it's D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer. So I am excited because the main person I wanted to meet, I'm not going to lie, was Bernie Mac. And of course, Bernie Mac was not there at the morning show. But I did get a chance to meet Cedric, real cool person. DL, real cool person. Steve Harvey comes on. He's semi-nice. He's got like you could tell he's got like a little source of arrogance with his, his aura. So at the time, I'm also selling for this company called Coming Attraction Parties. That's like what Bedroom Candy is today, the pure romance. You have them little home parties and have demonstrations, and it's a sexual Tupperware party. So we get to talk about toys and everything else. So I got some of my lingerie on me because I had a gig later on that night. And some of the inventory includes lingerie. I don't even know how we got there. I think somebody mentioned what I was doing, selling, and I think, I was showing some of the merchandise. And when I pulled the lingerie out, right before we went back on the air. And that's when Steve makes this announcement, like, I need these ladies to come down here for these tickets if they try this lingerie on. Now, I don't know if the man was married or not during that time. I'm just telling you what my experience was. So, I mean, it was like a hoochie call. These hoochies, like, stampeded the studio reception area. I'm like, damn, didn't he just make that announcement like 30 seconds ago? These hoochies are at the door. The kicker is, he wants them to try the lingerie I have in my inventory. So I got to escort them to the bathroom. And these hoochies, I'm telling you, it was at least 10 women in that bathroom trying on this lingerie on behind each other. Some of them didn't wear no drawers. I'm just telling you what the hell was taking place in that bathroom. It was chaotic. I ain't never seen so much coochie in my life. Like, you hoes are trying on. This is, first of all, it's my inventory. Y'all trying it on. Y'all got the drawers on. So somebody's buying this shit. They go in the studio one by one. They model the lingerie. And Steve, you know Steve's lips. Yeah, you like that. So I'm called into another part of the station. So I don't get to finish up because it was getting ready to wrap up the segment. And I was about to tap him on the shoulder and tell him, I said, you owe me this amount for this lingerie. I can't do shit with this inventory. Every hoochie in this building almost and had their coochie in this crotch. So by the time I wrap everything up, he's gone. So not only did you cause a hoochie stampede and had me witness some of the nastiest shit I've ever seen in my life, but now I ain't got no money for this shit because I can't do nothing with this. So you done got a free peep show, pretty much. I promise you, that happened. I didn't have a chance to meet him again, but I did have a chance to attend one of his stand-ups before he started doing stand-up comedy. And I still had that in the back of my head. I was just like, motherfucker, you still owe me for lingerie. Had I had a chance to go backstage, you don't think I would have been bringing that up? Yeah, that would have been petty. Yes, because it still bothers me. I would have been like Monique up in there. Why you bringing up bullshit? So I'm just going to have to give Steve a negative review on that one. Was not a pleasant experience. It definitely was doubly unpleasant since I did not obtain any funds behind that lingerie inventory. Thank you very much. Meeting comedian Ali Sadiq while my sister and I again was on the local Houston radio station. I had no idea at the time who Ali Sadiq was. Never heard of him. I was fairly still new to Houston at the time. And the girl that hooked up the interview, she brought him in the studio and he's quiet. And I'm thinking, is this like I'm making sure he ain't strapped because he's very quiet and very observant. Oh, he's fine. He just, he'll warm up when you guys start talking. She did not lie. Because I was nervous at first when we hit the airwaves. I was like, is he going to talk? Because I don't know if I need cue cards for this interview because he ain't saying nothing. That interview was so much fun. The experience with talking with Ali, his expertise, his craft, it was just awesome. We have been cool with him ever since. Now, don't get me wrong. Ali still, if he going to have a chance to take a jab at you, even though y'all cool, he gonna take a jab at you. That's just how Ali is. But then again, that's how my sister and I are. If we don't mess with you in a fun, loving way, we really don't like you. Or we just tolerate you. I'm just being honest. So Ali Sadiq, definitely positive experience. But here we go with the not so positive. And I know y'all gonna be like, I am never listening to this heifer again once I tell you the next one. Yolanda Adams. Gospel singer, morning radio show host. My tone just changed when I brought her up. I just noticed that. The radio station is welcoming the Yolanda Adams morning show to the roster. And they have a nice little celebration because it's based out of a church. Now, in this open room with press and all her fans, she's just melting and everybody's, oh, hello, bless you. She's just all over the place sweet. But let us walk backstage, my sister and I. And I'm like looking forward to maybe getting a more of a one-on-one with her, maybe have her on the show later. We didn't even get a chance to get close to this girl. I'm telling you, her attitude, her body language was skank. I mean skank. If you ever watch Poetic Justice and there's that scene toward the end of the movie where these two women are kind of getting into it because they going back and forth over a man, it was that kind of skank body language that was undeniably Skank. Both me and my sister did a U-turn. She didn't even have a chance to say nothing. Once we read her face and that body language, it was that funky. I'm telling you, she is just like behind the scenes, not the pleasant person that everybody thinks she is. Snarling at us. I'm like, what, you hungry? So yeah, Yolanda Adams, big no. Bobby Brown, member of New Edition and solo artist. We had the chance to meet him a couple years ago backstage. Bobby Brown was like, not on my, I must meet list. But, if it's there, I'm going to say, hey, this is a side of the stage story again. I'm walking toward the side of the stage and I see him watching the show. And I think Genuine at the time is performing. And I just introduced myself to him, shook his hand, and he was very friendly to me. We took a picture and everything. Now, I don't know what happened between him and my sister, because I remember her snarling at him after he gave her this stank attitude. Trust me, he came with it first. So I don't know what transpired, why he was not as friendly to my sister as he was for me. I don't know, but the fact that he even gave my sister a bad experience, I got to give him a negative review. You piss off one of my family members, yeah, I'm going to be down with the family member. That's just how it goes. If you guys listen to morning radio, I'm sure you're familiar with the show The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club consists now of Jess Hilarious, DJ Envy, and Charlamagne the God. Charlamagne the God is the reason I even started listening to The Breakfast Club. There will be such an addiction to hear what he got to say on stuff that if he was not on a episode of that show, I was not listening. I'm sorry. I was not listening because I think he brings such an interesting perspective to conversations, regardless of what the topic is. So we were doing the radio show, of course, and we had a chance to get a phone interview with his first book release. The book release was Black Privilege. Interesting title. But the book is great. I'm telling you, he walks you through all his experiences, how he learned that being black is a privilege. It's a good book. And I am mad nervous. Now, I know I mentioned I was a little nervous with I'll Be Sure, but I was on another level of nervous with Charlamagne the God because I was not knowing what to anticipate. Even though I was a fan of his, I really admired his conversation style. But I also heard him go off the deep end. And I was like, oh, Lord, why am I so nervous? But once we got on the phone with him, started talking, Charlamagne was a great interview. Great interview. Then we later met him in person at his book signing. That was even better. We got like a little video clip and a picture with him. And we had a chance to interview him again second time on the telephone for his second release, Shook One. Again, great interview. Charlamagne the God has got great energy. He, even if you're not a big fan, if you ever meet him in person, first of all, he is short as hell. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little shocked that he's a little short, but because his confidence level don't say short. That's what it is. His confidence level, the way he carries himself, his conversation, awesome, entertaining individual. I got to give Charlamagne the God of the Breakfast Club 4 thumbs up on that one too. When they real good, I give them 4 thumbs. Now, the last story I'm going to share with you is with comedian and actor Dion Cole. We met Dion when he appeared at the Houston Improv, and he was on tour. I had an opportunity to work for Dion. I was doing graphic designs for his upcoming tour dates, and I was hired through a former business affiliate. This business affiliate definitely was dramatic when it came to anything. I mean, even when you got rapport from him, he was just a little too overboard. So I'm also working on a film project with a local director. And I said, well, look, I'm going to be at auditions today, so anything to do with this project is going to have to wait till tomorrow because I'd already fulfilled the obligations current. And I said, I got to work on another project for another client of mine. So I'm at auditions all day, and I'm getting these text messages, and I'm like, from my business affiliate, who I told you is extra. So all this back-to-back text, and I was like, look, I had to hit you back later. So I get home later that evening. Something then went down text-wise. Apparently, Dion Cole got a money request with someone with a similar name as mine. But it was missing in my last name one letter. And my business affiliate assumed that I was trying to hustle Dion. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Now, my business affiliate, he's known me since I was a teenager. I've never had a rep of doing that. Now, that's one thing you can do to really piss me off is assault my character. And at the time, there was certain contact information I did not have of Dion's to even send him a request. So he sends me this thread between him and Dion talking about, because Dion's hitting him up. Hey, I don't know if this is somebody from your camp hitting me up for money. Oh, I guess that must be her. That's my business affiliate. And I guess that must be her. So you don't wait to hear from me. You just go ahead and put that verdict out there. I went the fuck off. I went off on this boy. Not Dion, but my affiliate. Because for you to assault my character with a client and not talk to me first without making assumptions. Oh, I was hot. So you calling me a thief, little scam artist. You know that scene in Harlem Nights when old girl and Eddie Murphy had to fall out and fight in the alley? Oh, that's what I was. Deloise, yeah, I was her. Even though I know Rocky gets that title, I was her that day. Because I was hot. You didn't accuse me of stealing? So after I go off on him, I get a phone call. The phone call is from Dion Cole himself. Dion was very apologetic. He was like, look, I'm sorry. I did not know. I didn't know what's going on. I don't know how old boy even handled that situation. And I just explained to him, I said, look, it wasn't me. I was at auditions all day. I was just insulted that I was even accused of that accusation. He understood and was very cool about it. He even made a side joke about old boy. He was like, yeah, your boy is a little extra though. Your boy is extra. I was like, yeah, so I'm glad somebody else sees this shit. But meeting Dion at the Houston Improv was so dope because not only was that set phenomenal, in person, meeting him one-on-one, real good energy. My sister almost got us kicked out because she was definitely on Dion's chest. When I say on Dion's chest, I mean she was trying to get a handful. I was like, girl, come on now. Leave something to the imagination. But he was mad cool, got some pictures, and needless to say, I don't deal with my business affiliate ever. No more. It's hard to come back when you assault my character and you know me. So that's like, that really there's no comeback from that, to be honest with you. It's just like, okay, you said it, you must feel that way, bye. I'm good. So Dion Cole, positive feedback on that one. 4 thumbs up for Dion. Cool. He brought my blood pressure down. Added us to the show, had pictures. So we good with Dion. He's a real cool dude. He really is. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed these celebrity stories. You know, some of them were great experiences. Some of them were not. And I'm so sorry if I pissed on anybody's celebrity with a negative review. I'm just telling you what my experience was. So it definitely gave me a different perception of celebrities nowadays because when you're a person that enjoys movies, TV, music videos, whatever the situation may be, radio personalities, and you have the opportunity to meet them in person, it could be one of the most damning experiences because you didn't realize what an asshole they were. You just didn't realize this person's a real asshole. Really put in my mind, there's only a number of celebrities on certain levels that if I had to meet them or I had a chance to meet them, yeah, but especially with these damn reality TV shows, folks be going crazy over these reality TV shows. These are people that are in front of a camera playing dialogue. What are you talking about? Matter of fact, people are so knee deep in celebrities. Godfrey had a clip on when Northwest performed in Lion King, and y'all all saw that clip. That shit was horrible. So they were giving their feedback on it, and I made a little comment joking. I said, yeah, she's just getting by just like her mama. When I said that, because Kim Kardashian has no talent. She's successful. Yes, she is in other lanes. But talent-wise, no. And I mean, people got in their feelings. And I'm like, this woman don't even know y'all. Y'all putting too much on stuff that does not exist in her reality, only yours. Calm down. Now, trust me, there's people who are not big Dave Chappelle fans, and I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan. When I hear some stuff about Dave negatively, if it's not true, I just let it fall to the side, because regardless whether you like him or not, I'm still going to support him. That's who I am, and that's who I'm going to be. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed those stories. Don't make it a big deal about meeting these folks, because sometimes it ain't even worth the effort. I learned some good lessons from the encounters. It gave me some personal growth and some professional growth, because y'all know I had to put my professional hat on in a few of those scenarios where I couldn't do what I wanted to do verbally. Oh yeah, I had to really hold together. Celebrities are regular people too. Thanks for joining me on this trip down memory lane, sharing stories of celebrity encounters, both good and bad. Next week, we'll dive into the topic of friendship and explore how to distinguish between true friends and those who may not have your best interest at heart. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more insightful conversations. See you next time. Peace.